Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to today's Startup Junkie. All right. In case you don't know me, I am your host, AJ. All right. And today is a very special episode of the Startup Junkie because, as many of you guys know, this is when we call it the state of play. So let me just kind of give you some context on about what the state of play is. State of play is any and everything that affects your pocketbook, your family's financial well-being, your family's financial health, anything that's happening in the economy, things that we cannot control because maybe lawmakers are not getting along. And that seems to be the case right now. We try our best to keep you informed, to let you know what's going on. Although our show, The Startup Junkie, is 100% dedicated to entrepreneurs making their dream a reality. And if you're a current business owner, hopefully you can take something away from the show as we share strategies and things for you to help you grow and scale your business and ultimately increase the bottom line. And of course, that is your profit. So again, today is the state of play, and we're going to address quite a few things here today, all right? But I got to set the mood, and I got to, give myself a little theme music here, theme music to kind of boost me up. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Now, let me just say this, okay? This is completely different than what you see a lot of YouTubers do, all right? A lot of YouTubers, they basically pre-record and polish off their videos, right? So if you see me making a mistake, I'm literally making that mistake live, okay? If I say something that I should not say, if I cite something I should not be citing, if I fall down and trip, it happens live, okay? And no worries, the emperor does have pants on. So I'm not sitting here with a jacket and t-shirt and no pants. I literally have pants on. So that's a good thing. All right. So let's get it. Startup Junkie, state of play tonight. Basically, let me set the scene, and then I'm going to share a video with you from CBS News that basically encapsulates, perfectly explains in less than 3 minutes, about a little bit over 2 minutes, what exactly is going on with, stimulus talks, the potential of you getting a stimulus check, and basically how some people on the left are accusing some people on the right and the current administration of trying to steal the election with what's going on with the Postal Service, United States Postal Service. And, firsthand experience, honestly, it has been super duper slow lately. So when I order something from Amazon, I'm hoping that they do not select United States Postal Service to deliver it, because you can best believe it will not be delivered on time. So let's just get into the state of play. I am going to share this video right now with you from CBS News that perfectly encapsulates what is actually going on. And after that, I'm going to give you some commentary, and then I'm going to share with you something that the current administration tweeted, the president tweeted, about everyone getting $3,400 checks. And I'm going to clear up some misnomers here. So check out the video.
Postal Service that could affect tens of millions of voters. The post office telling most of the states that it cannot guarantee delivery of the expected crush of mail-in ballots in time for Election Day counting. It comes as Congress and the White House are at a stalemate over a coronavirus relief bill, which would include billions in funding for the post office. And as the president is seeking to cast doubt on mail-in ballots cast in the upcoming election. Weijia Jiang is traveling with the president, who is spending the weekend at his New Jersey golf club. Weijia, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff, and good morning to everybody. CBS News has learned that the Postal Service's Inspector General has launched an investigation into recent changes at post offices across the country made by the new Postmaster General, who is a Trump appointee. Democrats say the changes are part of a concerted effort to sabotage the election.
Talk business
During a Friday night event at his Bedminster Golf Resort, President Trump asked a group of New York police officers for help insulting Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden.
Who likes Slow Joe? Who likes Sleepy Joe?
The city's Police Benevolent Association, the largest union representing NYPD officers, endorsed the president's re-election campaign. Back in Washington, Democratic lawmakers are accusing Mr. Trump of trying to undermine the election by withholding emergency funding for the U.S. Postal Service in a coronavirus relief deal at a time when mail-in ballots are expected to increase tenfold in November due to the pandemic. President Trump insists without providing evidence that mail-in voting will lead to election fraud.
They can be forged. They can be captured. They can be taken.
But on Friday, President Trump said he would sign an agreement with mail-in voting money in exchange for Republican priorities.
Yeah, I would certainly do that, sure. I would do that.
In a rare interview, former President Barack Obama weighed in on the controversy.
What we've never seen before is a president say, I'm going to try to actively kneecap the Postal Service to encourage voting.
When I see problems, I work to solve them.
The Postal Service has sent letters to all 50 states and Washington, D.C., urging them to change their mail-in voting timelines and warning several of them that there's a significant risk that some ballots will not be returned by mail in time to be counted. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi continued pressing for more resources.
The removal of equipment within the postal offices and the rest is to undermine the Postal Service at a time when the Postal Service is needed now more than ever.
The National Association of Letter Carriers, which represents 300,000 retired and active Postal Service workers, has endorsed the Biden-Harris ticket. Joe Biden tweeted that vote by mail is safe and secure, pointing out that just this week, the president himself requested his mail-in ballot. Michelle?
Good. What's good for the goose? A lot of people saying that. Weija, thank you so much.
Okay, so let's break that down just a little bit. Okay, first and foremost, let me just say this. All right, the Postmaster, his name is Louis DeJoy. All right, and for many of you guys who don't know, Louis DeJoy actually owned a company where he literally sold it and made, I think he sold his company for like $600+ million. Thank you, producer, for adjusting the lighting because I was a little dark. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, he sold his company for $600+ million, right? The Postmaster Louis DeJoy has been a contributor to the current administration's campaign, and is a I wish I would have actually put, because I really don't want to talk too much about him, because I like to put at least a source inside the body of all my posts in the event that I get flagged for sharing information that they say it's not true. I always provide a source, and that's how the algorithm works, because basically it goes to see if you're making any kind of statements that are not true. But I'm just saying this. Go and search after this live broadcast and as sharing this broadcast. Go search Postmaster Louis DeJoy. But anyway, so the point is this. There is a huge problem, and I've seen many of you guys post information on all of the social platforms showing that, what do you call that? The blue boxes, the mailboxes are being picked up and they're being taken out of circulation and all that. Okay, we understand all of those things, right? But at the same time, not defending the right or the left, there is what you call a standard play of business. This is just from a business aspect. Businesses will constantly move things in and out and move things from location to location based on demand. However, that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case in this particular situation, because not only part of trimming the fat when the current Postmaster came into power, which, by the way, he literally just came into power. I think it was in June of this year. Immediately start making cuts. Okay, making cuts, taking machines out, and they say that's part of standard business. Taking the sorting machines out, so to improve them or whatever. But it's being done right at a time where the capacity for being able to sort mail and distribute mail and basically be able to take in mail-in ballots is coming up, right? So as you guys know, Louis DeJoy is actually will probably be subpoenaed to actually come and testify in front of Congress. Of course, it's the Democrats that are pushing for that. But why am I sharing this with you? I am sharing this with you right now because you need to know what is actually holding up stimulus money, what's holding up, and Lord knows this is terrible because it's been so slow, the mail's been so slow, and because the Democrats, through the HEROES Act, are pushing for funding. There are so many people out there that depend 100% on the Postal Service. For example, there are tons of veterans that literally receive, medicine on a daily basis via the United States Postal Service. Okay, there are Social Security checks that go out to the elderly. There's SSI disability that go out to those people. Maybe the elderly. Maybe they don't have as much experience with technology, so they still actually get their checks. Okay, they literally still get their checks. So this what we call in business bottlenecking has created a huge problem as it relates to taking care of the people that have taken care of us, and that are seniors and that are veterans. Which, by the way, if you are a veteran, thank you very much, so much for your service. All right, so I'm actually able to be here today to doing this show because of what people like you have done for this country. So thank you so very much. I salute you. So now, the state of play also brings you more than one perspective. And that's why I said that the CBS news clip was perfect, because you heard from the president and you also heard from the opposition, which is the Democrats, which is Nancy Pelosi. Now, do understand that Nancy Pelosi has called her people back in, because like right now Congress is on recess, but she's called her people back in because they're going to get to the bottom of this mailing situation, or what you call the United States Postal Service debacle. All right. So during the midst of all of that, all right, you had on Jay Tapper's show, which is CNN, you had Mark Meadows, who is the chief of staff, basically do an interview basically saying that if you guys come, we ready to do a deal. We ready to do a deal. We ready to send checks out now. And when that actually happened, this right here also happened as well. So I'm going to share something that the current administration literally tweeted. Check this out. Okay, because the current administration actually tweeted that on his Twitter account to his millions upon millions upon millions of followers, there has been this thing going around that, hey, everybody's about to get a check. Okay, everybody's about to get a check up to for a family of four, up to $3,400. So, unfortunately, do not kill the messenger. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Okay, so basically, the current state of play is this. Everything, honestly, is really hinging on Trump basically willing to negotiate with the Democrats to provide funding for the post office. Okay, So that's where we are right now. And you might be saying, well, AJ, I remember Schoolhouse Rock, and I remember how all that works. I thought I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. And you go from, from the in Congress, you go from the House of Republicans. You go from the House to the Senate, and then that is a bill. A bill starts in the House, it goes to the Senate, it passes both the House and the Senate, then it goes up to the president. He signs off on it or he vetoes it, right? I thought that's the way it's supposed to go. So if that is the way it's supposed to go, if that's what you learned and way back in the day, okay, from Schoolhouse Rock and all of those shows that taught you a little bit about, the three branches of government, where is the Senate leader in all of this? Well, the Senate leader, which is Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, right? He is kind of hands off, all right? Because honestly, all the current administration has to do is say, hey, pass this, and everyone, rank and file in the Senate, will fall in line and pass it. Even though they, meaning the Republicans in the Senate, actually proposed what is called the HEALS Act, right? Which was a little bit over $1 trillion. And of course, passed in the House by the House, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. What passed back on May 15th was the HEROES Act, which was $3.2 trillion. So basically, of the two parties that really should be negotiating on this, which is the Senate Republicans and the House Democrats, the Senate Republicans are basically on recess, right? So the House leadership is basically negotiating with President Donald Trump, Steven Mnuchin, who's an chief economic advisor, as well as Mark Meadows, who is basically the man next to the man. Well, not the vice president, but the man next to the man. In other words, he's the chief of staff. All right. So what does that mean for you and your next potential check as a stimulus? Well, the one thing that we have found out, and no worries, I'm going to answer that question. The one thing that we have found out is this. We actually found out that many of the four executive orders that the current administration signed, none of it is really enforceable, right? And it's not, because evictions are still about to happen, right? Good luck on getting that boost. And I'm simply stating the fact for all my friends that are on the right that are basically chiming in saying, AJ, what the hell are you talking about? I'm a proud Republican. No, my friend, I'm just simply sharing what it is. It is what it is. You don't have to be an attorney or a constitutional law scholar to know that some of the things that allegedly was really for good optics that were passed in these quote unquote executive orders are basically unconstitutional and unenforceable. Why? Because who has the purse? Who can do the spending? Now, remember, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has said it so many times. So I'm just going to remind you who actually has the purse, right? Basically, the federal chairman, Jerome Powell, says, I have lending power, but the Congress, not the current administration. Remember your branches of government, right? They have, the Congress that is, they have spending power. Spending power, besides, a few executive orders here with the president, doesn't lie with the administration. It doesn't lie with the executive branch. It lies with the legislative branch, okay? And I'm sorry to get so deep and to take you guys back as it relates to civics and basic government, but you guys have to know, right? You cannot fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Again, that is a reference to the 1984, if I'm not mistaken, movie, 1984, 85, something like that movie, Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy, right? So I'm telling you what's probably going to happen. Okay. And this is just my prediction based on, what's going on with Louis DeJoy. They're about to find out a bunch of stuff when they subpoena him and he has to come and testify. They say that might be sometime next week in front of Congress. Now, keep in mind, Congress is off until after Labor Day. And Labor Day, I think, is September 7th. So technically they're off. However, the Democrats have come back and they're working. But Mitch McConnell told his people, which are the Republicans, the Senate Republicans, to be ready to come back at a moment's notice because, President Trump agrees that direct payments should go out to everyday working Americans. So now I'm answering your question, right? Congress, and that means House Democrats as well as Senate Republicans, most of them agree that payments should go out to hardworking Americans. Now, when I say most, there were many, Republicans in the Senate that didn't want to give anything. And, that's why Mitch McConnell couldn't get the vote for the HEALS Act, right? So I anticipate maybe by September 7th or before, you will know something specifically about a check coming to you. And this is my prediction based on everything that's going. So here is factor number one. Factor number one, everybody wants it. Okay, just about everybody wants it. The current administration, including President Donald Trump, has said, and I've shared videos with you that, and of course by his tweet, he definitely thinks that more direct payments should go out. That's the first thing. Second factor is, well, he wants it. Of course, the Democrats want it, and the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wants it. Okay, here is the second factor. The second factor is there is an election coming up, right? You cannot have, during the midst of a pandemic, millions upon millions of evictions, right? Because remember, mid-July, the rent and mortgage moratorium actually expired, okay? It actually expired. So, there's money in the acts for rental assistance too, right? So rental assistance meaning monies to be given to those who need money to actually help pay rent, and also those landlords. So there is funding for that. I know for a fact that it was in the HEROES Act, but not so much in the HEALS Act, okay? Or the HEALS proposal, so to speak. Now, the third and final factor is simply this, right? Mostly, the current administration has been running on a strong economy. And here's an example of how the economy, just as a side note, the economy and the stock market are not necessarily, they're connected, but they kind of have their mind on their own, right? The stock market moves on anticipation, or what they call speculation. It's speculative. If they think something good is going to happen, then you're going to see the stock market shoot up, right? But the real world, for many of you guys who have been unemployed, right, who have filed jobless claims, who are still trying to get unemployment, it doesn't matter how well the stock market is doing. So just keep that in mind right now. So here's the third and final point. All right. If the current administration ran on a strong economy, the stock market as high as it's ever been, unemployment as low as it's ever been, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to actually put some money back into the economy to stimulate the economy. And so if monies have to be put in the economy for people who may have been unemployed, who don't have money to pay their rent, who basically have given up on looking for a job, which, by the way, that could also be a reason why the jobless claims fell under 1 million this past week, as opposed to the 2 prior weeks where it was 4 million jobless claims, right? So because the current administration ran on the economy, they can't run on health, can't run on how you handle the pandemic. I mean, it's very, very clear to me that when you combine the three factors that I just shared with you, that money will be coming to you soon. So I hope you enjoyed that. All right. So that has been my humble assessment of what is going on in the economy as it relates to the stimulus and the potential of you getting another stimulus check. And of course, like I said, that my show is 100% live. Okay. So like I said, when I mess up, I mess up. When I mess up, I literally mess up. So it's not polished. And of course, you can tell I only got me and one other person in here helping me out. And they're new, so you have to apologize for their getting me out of focus on video. Because you know I run a tighter, you hear that, John? I run a tighter show than that, okay? All right, so I appreciate you guys checking out the Startup Junkie live state of play today, where I gave you a stimulus update. Be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live multi-streaming across YouTube, Facebook, as well as Periscope/Twitter. And be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeartMedia. And most importantly, people, please, please, please share. Please share this live stream with someone you believe that it can actually benefit. All right. So with that said, and until tomorrow, when we come to you with another edition of the Startup Junkie Live, I am out. I am simply out of this piece.